This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
President Trump's primetime address to the nation aims to sell the American people on his first 11 months in office. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
Nick Reiner, the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner, made his first court appearance Wednesday in Los Angeles.
Complex and serious issues.
I'm Julie Walker.
Dan Bongino leaving his post in Washington.
Dan did a great job.
I'm Clayton Neville.
President Trump has added partisan plaques to his newly created Presidential Walk of Fame. Sagar Magani, Washington.
On Wall Street, we're going to get a fresh read on inflation this morning. Markets have struggled this week. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Lisa Dwyer has details on what was said in a closed-door hearing involving special counsel Jack Smith and what people really want to receive this holiday season. All ahead on America in the Morning. President Trump delivers a speech in prime time where he sought to assure the American people that his administration has accomplished much in their first 11 months while laying blame for America's problems at the feet of Democrats and former President Biden. John Stolnis has a recap from Washington.
A presidential primetime speech is usually reserved for an urgent address to the nation on a certain topic, but the president's nearly 20-minute speech was more an encapsulation of what he says are victories won by his administration so far this year. At the top of his remarks, the president started off by quickly pointing the finger at President Biden for persistently high inflation.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability.
He criticized Biden's border policy.
They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers.
And a series of other grievances from the previous administration.
We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels.
The president declaring his first year in office a success.
Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years.
And Trump also announced what he calls warrior dividends.
In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776.
The issue gripping Capitol Hill heading into the Christmas break is health care reform, with Obamacare subsidies set to skyrocket for millions of Americans in the new year.
The money should go to the people, that's you, so they can buy their own health insurance.
And the president once again touting his use of tariffs to bring what he says is enormous wealth into the country.
I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs.
Critics say Trump's $18 trillion number is not close to accurate, nor is his claim of stopping 8 wars and other items. John Stolnis, Washington.
Rob Reiner's son made his first appearance in a Los Angeles court facing murder charges in the death of his legendary director father and mother, who, according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, was due to multiple sharp force injuries. Correspondent Julie Walker reports on Nick Reiner's day in court.
Nick Reiner, the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner, made his first court appearance Wednesday in Los Angeles on first-degree murder charges in the killing of his parents.
Mr. Reiner, you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel is requesting that your arraignment be continued to January 7, 2026. Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can be heard on January 7, 2026? And does counsel join in the waiver?
I join.
The 32-year-old did not enter a plea. He was in shackles and a padded suicide prevention vest. Over the years, he's made no secret of his struggles with drug addiction.
This is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family. We all recognize that. Our hearts go out to the entire Reiner family.
After court, his lawyer, Alan Jackson, spoke.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. Those need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with.
Reiner's arraignment was postponed until January 7th. Meanwhile, his sister and brother released their first statement, saying in part, "The horrific and devastating loss of our parents is something no one should ever experience." Rob and Michelle Reiner were found dead at home Sunday. The DA says a knife was used to kill them.
We ask that during this process you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves.
I'm Julie Walker.
When we return on America in the Morning, Bongino trades the FBI for the microphone after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Even still, more rain for the Pacific Northwest today. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
The latest storm piling on more rain to areas of the Pacific Northwest that simply don't need it will arrive today and continue into tomorrow with an abundance of heavy rain as Pacific moisture is wrung out overhead to lead to worsening flood conditions. The most intense downpours look to be focused farther to the south than with the last event earlier this week, and a more robust plume of moisture to work with means widespread rainfall of at least 1 to 2 inches from coastal and south central Washington through the western half of Oregon and into much of northwestern California. Many of the areas expected to get 4+ inches of rain are in Oregon, with 4 to 8 inches along the coast and just east of Interstate 5, perhaps even up to a foot of rain for some of the foothills of the northern Oregon Cascades. The other major storm in the nation today is farther to the east, heading out of the plains and into the Midwest and the South, where a severe weather risk develops today as a cold front plows into warm and moist air ahead of it. Storms from southern Illinois to northern Mississippi and eastward to the Huntsville, Alabama, and Louisville metro areas may turn rather gusty today. Showers start the day as far to the west as eastern Texas and Oklahoma, with steady rain getting as far to the east as western New York State, even northern Virginia. The northern side of that storm is the colder side, though, with snow stretching from northern Wisconsin, north and west to central North Dakota. Some of that same area has a blizzard in store for today, with winds gusting to 40 to 60 miles per hour to blow around the snow and create reduced visibility lasting for several hours at a time. The northeastern states have a rare bit of relief from the chill that kicked off December, with the southwest quite warm as well. In Las Vegas, today brings sunshine and warmth with a high near the record of 72 from way back in 1939. For Boone, North Carolina, look for occasional rain and drizzle today, high 47. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts when you search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. A high-profile departure from the second Trump administration. Former podcaster and radio host Dan Bongino is leaving his post at the FBI. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
In a post on social media, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said that he'll be leaving his position with the FBI in January. He thanked President Trump, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Kash Patel for what he called the opportunity to serve with purpose. He also thanked the American people for the privilege to serve. President Trump was asked about Bongino's announcement.
Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
Bongino's a former Secret Service agent turned podcaster who was hosting a daily radio show with Westwood One before being tapped by President Trump. I'm Clayton Neville.
At the White House, President Trump has added descriptive plaques to his presidential Walk of Fame, some that are considered controversial. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
President Trump has added partisan and subjective plaques to his newly created Presidential Walk of Fame. It's another step in the president's efforts to both shape the White House in his image and bend the telling of American history to his own version. A few months ago, the president refashioned the colonnade running from the West Wing to the residence with gilded portraits of all presidents except Joe Biden, who instead is represented by an auto pen. The plaques include calling sleepy Joe Biden by far the worst president in American history, Barack Obama as one of its most divisive political figures, and Ronald Reagan as a fan of a young Trump. His spokeswoman says the president wrote many of the inscriptions himself. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
When we return on America in the Morning, stock buying app Robinhood mixes investing and sports betting. After these messages. Welcome back here with America in the Morning. The Business Report is sponsored by Gusto. Gusto is a simple online payroll and benefits tool built for small businesses. Learn more at gusto.com/radio. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with the Thursday Report.
Wall Street opens this morning after a down day for stocks yesterday. The Dow fell 200 points, the Nasdaq dropped 400, and Nvidia shares lost almost 4%.
People don't really want to give up on the idea that the market should be relatively strong into year end. We're up 16% after being up 20% 2 years in a row before it. So I don't think people are panicking out, but they're definitely questioning. And this is a 2-month trading range we've been in right now, in a strong position after a very strong 6-month run. But nonetheless, it's starting to feel very churny.
That's CNBC's Mike Santoli. Silver and gold each hit fresh record highs yesterday. If you need some Christmas cash, you should think about selling old jewelry or silver flatware. Platinum, by the way, at its highest since 2008. Medline, the medical supply firm, became the biggest IPO of the year yesterday, initial public offering. Shares jumped more than 25% when it started trading. Stock buying app Robinhood is rolling out NFL parlay and prop bets on its prediction markets platform. Critics say the move mixes up investing and betting. But here's Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev on CNBC.
The sort of discussion about, gambling versus trading ends up in almost like a debate over the meanings of words. I think the main critical difference with prediction markets is that these trades are happening on a CFTC-regulated exchange where there's a market between buyers and sellers.
Warner Brothers Discovery's board told its shareholders that the Netflix offer is better than the Paramount Skydance offer. The nickname for Paramount Skydance is P-Sky, and here's the chairman of the Warner Brothers Discovery board.
Netflix made a compelling offer. It was heavy in cash, certainty of close, a high termination fee. It had all, and they responded to the operating issues that we were concerned about. P-Sky had every opportunity to deal with that broad range of issues, and they chose not to.
That's WBD board chair Samuel D. Piazza on CNBC. You have been watching the Oscars on ABC since the 1970s, but everything new is old again in media.
Starting in 2029, the Academy Awards will stream exclusively on YouTube for free globally and on YouTube TV in the U.S. The Alphabet-owned YouTube signed a multi-year deal. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but clearly a sign of the times.
CNBC's Seema Modi. On today's watch list, we're going to get the latest on inflation. It'll be a delayed CPI, Consumer Price Index report. Earnings are coming from Nike, FedEx, and Olive Garden parent Darden Restaurants.
Thank you. There's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. Stop racking your brain. What people really want for the holidays. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. Democrats are demanding that startling closed-door testimony from embattled former special counsel Jack Smith on Capitol Hill be made public. Correspondent Lisa Dwyer explains.
In a closed-door interview, former Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith told lawmakers on Capitol Hill that his team of investigators had developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Donald Trump had criminally conspired to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The committee's top Democrat, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, says,
Chairman Jordan made an excellent decision in not allowing Jack Smith to testify publicly, because had he done so, it would have been absolutely devastating to the president and all the president's men involved in the insurrectionary activities of January the 6th.
Democrats are demanding that Smith's testimony be made public. The committee chairman, Republican Jim Jordan of Ohio, told reporters that they did learn some interesting things, but stood by his position about the investigations, saying it's political. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Cash is still king. Correspondent Donna Warder reports on a new poll of what people would most like to receive for the holidays.
60% of people who responded to a new survey by the Associated Press and the Nork Center for Public Affairs Research say cash is very acceptable as a holiday present. That's about 2/3 of people under 45 and a little more than half of adults older. About 90% of people say gift cards are somewhat acceptable, and about 60% say the same for gifts either purchased secondhand or re-gifted. About a quarter of adults polled say they plan to watch sports on Christmas Day. Only 5% say they'll be heading to the movie theater. About 1/3 of people who responded to the survey say they'll be leaving their holiday decorations up after New Year's Day. But only 20% say those decorations were up before Thanksgiving. 44% of those who were polled say by the time the ball drops in Times Square to ring in the new year, they'll be fast asleep. I'm Donna Warder.
America in the Morning for Thursday, December 18th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
4 House Republicans have broken with Speaker Mike Johnson in the ongoing health care saga on Capitol Hill. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Senate passes the defense bill, but Democrats still want to know
what on earth Donald Trump is planning to do in Venezuela.
I'm Rich Johnson.
Searching for more information in the shooting at Brown University. I'm Clayton Neville.
Blame for the January plane crash in Washington, D.C. Another state prepares to enact a right-to-die law, and the Oscars are getting a new broadcast home.
A hospital outside Detroit wants its small patients to know they haven't been forgotten this holiday season. I'm Donna Warder.
Back after these messages. Welcome back. Here with America in the Morning. Thunderstorms developing for some across the country today. With details, here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
A rather strong storm whose center is over the upper Midwest and will track across the upper peninsula of Michigan today brings with it a cold front. Ahead of this front, a good bit of warmth and Gulf moisture will stream into parts of the South and the Ohio Valley, and that front interacting with this kind of air mass ahead of it will result in thunderstorms today that may turn severe. AccuWeather severe weather experts say that this risk should be highest today from northern Mississippi and Alabama northward through western and central Tennessee, including the Nashville area into western Kentucky, then across the Ohio River into far southern Illinois and Indiana. These storms could bring strong winds of at least 50 to 60 miles per hour. Elsewhere, wet weather once again becomes a major concern in the Pacific Northwest as a new and powerful storm brings in an even more potent round of moisture. This is set to lead to the latest heavy rain risk, focused more on Oregon this time, particularly the western part of the state, where some of the northern foothills of the Cascades could end up with 8 to 12 inches of rain through just the day tomorrow. Just about all of the immediate Oregon coast is expected to get at least 4 to 8 inches of rain, with at least 1 to 2 across much of northwestern California and into southwestern Washington as well, but locally higher amounts. Active weather also continues in the center of the nation, where the fire risk for today will be high from north-central Texas into southwestern Nebraska, thanks to strong winds and low relative humidity in the area. The wind also helps to create a blizzard today from northeastern North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota, where gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour and 1 to 3 inches of snow through this evening will lead to an extended period of greatly reduced visibility. Otherwise, rain stretches to the south and east from there through the Great Lakes to the Mid-Atlantic by late today. That's the weather across America. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. The House of Representatives was able to narrowly pass a health care plan, but without extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which ends the hope of keeping ACA monthly premiums low. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports 4 House Republicans have broken ranks in the ongoing health care saga, forcing a vote on those subsidies, but one that won't happen until after the premiums rise.
4 House Republicans have broken with Speaker Mike Johnson in the ongoing health care saga on Capitol Hill.
It is idiotic. So the challenge I have for every one of my colleagues is put the party crap aside and sign the damn discharge today. This place is disgraceful. Everybody wants the upper hand. Everybody wants the political advantage. They don't actually want to do the damn work.
It was a stunning turn. The 4 centrist Republicans signed on to a Democratic bid that will now force a vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies that lower health care costs for millions of Americans.
I want to thank those Republicans who signed the discharge petition.
Massachusetts Democrat Jim McGovern, even as he warned today is the last chance to avoid soaring premiums in 2026.
This is it. I mean, this is the one last chance this year, this session, for this Republican majority to do the right thing and vote to extend the ACA enhanced premium tax credits. And if Republicans allow them to expire, millions of Americans, millions of their constituents will be faced with rising health insurance costs, and in some cases by more than $1,000 per month.
A vote could happen next month. House GOP leaders had been moving forward with a health care bill that does not address the premiums. North Carolina's Virginia Fox said just extending the subsidies is a desperate Democrat bid to salvage a broken ACA.
Republicans are advancing real reforms in health care. Unlike Democrats, we're not attempting to place a Band-Aid on a ruptured artery and call it a day.
Despite the Republican revolt, Johnson insists he has not lost control of the House. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The U.S. Senate has passed the annual military budget bill and is sending it to the White House for the president's signature. Correspondent Rich Johnson reports the measure is a rare exception to the hyper-partisanship in Congress, but comes at a time when the U.S. military is ratcheting up activity against the Maduro regime and narco-terrorists.
Senators from both parties praised the long-standing tradition of coming together to pass the National Defense Authorization Act.
For the 65th consecutive year, the NDAA is the product of a bipartisan process in both chambers.
Senate Republican leader John Thune said the $901 billion bill will make sure the U.S. is prepared to face any military threat.
And not just the threats that may come in the next year. It's about putting us on a path that will ensure our military can deter and, if necessary, defeat any threat that may arise in the future.
On the other side of the aisle,
I rise to express my support for this legislation.
Rhode Island Democrat Jack Reed voted yes, along with 76 other senators, versus 22 voting no. The bipartisan vote reflects the many compromises in the act. It implements many of President Trump's executive orders and proposals on eliminating diversity and inclusion efforts. It also grants emergency military powers at the U.S. border with Mexico. But it pushes back on some issues, including the one that is top of mind.
And we also need immediate answers about what on earth Donald Trump is planning to do in Venezuela.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer on the bill's demand for more information about U.S. strikes on boats in the Caribbean, including that alleged double-tap attack on one boat.
Every single member is entitled to see the full, unedited video of what happened during the series of strikes on September the 2nd.
The defense bill also requires that the U.S. keep its troop levels in Europe at current levels and does send some military aid to Ukraine. The White House has hinted that President Trump will sign the NDAA. I'm Richard Johnson.
Despite authorities saying they have DNA they believe came from the shooter, police appear to be no closer to identifying the person who opened fire inside the engineering building at Brown University, killing 2 students last weekend. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports that Providence, Rhode Island police do have images of a person of interest and are still hoping for the public's help.
Investigators are specifically looking for footage that could show the suspect entering a vehicle or residence in the moments after the shooting. No weapon's been recovered, and it's believed only one weapon was used. Police say they're looking for a specific person, not necessarily a suspect, but someone who may know more about the initial person of interest. That man masked with glasses, but authorities urging caution surrounding fake videos online.
Not to rely on or circulate AI-generated images that are currently being shared on social media, as they're not verified or credible.
Providence, Rhode Island Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez.
There's DNA evidence, there's a lot of evidence that we're collecting to ensure that we can find the answer.
At least 2 students were killed in the shooting and 9 others were injured. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley.
I'm happy to report that another individual has been discharged today. That leaves 1 survivor in critical but stable condition and 5 in stable conditions.
Back to the current focus for investigators as a manhunt continues. Police say surveillance video appears to show a man was in close proximity to the shooter just hours before the attack. That's the man now wanted for questioning. I'm Clayton Neville.
New allegations of questionable advertising practices at Facebook and Instagram. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. The U.S. government acknowledged Wednesday that both the Federal Aviation Administration and the U.S. Army contributed to a mid-air collision over the Potomac River near Washington, D.C. last January that killed 67 people. In a new legal filing, government attorneys conceded the FAA violated procedures dictating when controllers can rely on pilots to maintain visual separation, and that the Army helicopter pilots failed to maintain visual spacing to avoid the dissenting passenger jet just yards from landing at Reagan National Airport. America in the Morning continues. The District of Columbia is getting a new police chief. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
In Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser has named a veteran police officer, Jeffrey Carroll, as the interim chief of the Metropolitan Police Force. The announcement comes after the news that Police Chief Pamela Smith is stepping down at the end of the year, and that Mayor Bowser herself will not be running for re-election. Carroll is the executive assistant chief of specialized operations and has been on the national stage recently during news conferences on the shooting of 2 National Guard troops near the White House. Carroll takes over at a tumultuous time for the city, with President Trump's federal law enforcement surge still underway and the House Committee on Oversight launching an investigation into allegations that police leadership may have manipulated data to make crime rates appear to be lower than they actually were. In a statement, the mayor says Chief Carroll is the right person to build on the momentum of the past 2 years so that we can continue driving down crime across the city. In other D.C. news, a federal appeals court Wednesday ruled that the National Guard presence in the nation's capital can continue for now, staying a lower court ruling. Jennifer King, Washington.
New York's governor says she has reached a right-to-die deal to legalize medically assisted suicide. Correspondent Julie Walker explains.
Next year, New York could join a dozen other states and D.C. in allowing medically assisted suicide. Now that Governor Kathy Hochul has a deal in place with lawmakers to approve a bill to give terminally ill people the legal ability to end their own lives with prescribed medication. In an op-ed in the Albany Times-Union Wednesday, Hochul said she supports the proposal, but has made a deal with lawmakers to include guardrails in the measure before she signs it into law. Hochul, a Catholic, said she came to the decision after hearing from New Yorkers in the throes of pain and suffering, as well as their children, while also considering opposition from individuals of many faiths who believe that deliberately shortening one's life violates the sanctity of life. Julie Walker, New York.
A major change is coming to the Academy Awards. Lisa Dwyer reports on a big move by the Oscars, leaving their 50-year home for a streaming destination.
In a seismic shift for one of television's marquee events, the Academy Awards will begin streaming on YouTube. Beginning in 2029, YouTube will hold the global rights to streaming the Oscars through 2033. ABC currently airs the Oscars and will continue to broadcast the annual ceremony through the 100th Oscars in 2028. Starting in 2029, YouTube will effectively be the home of all things Oscars, including red carpet coverage, the Governor's Awards, and the Oscar nominations announcement. Officials at the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences says that the move to YouTube will help expand access to the work of the Academy to the largest worldwide audience possible. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Facebook and Instagram parent Meta is in trouble again for their questionable advertising practices. Chuck Palm has the story today in his segment, The New Old Tech Guy.
According to internal documents reviewed by Reuters, Meta has earned over $18 billion in ad sales from Chinese advertisers in 2024, and that's more than 10% of global ad revenue. But here's the kicker. Nearly 19% of that, almost $3 billion, reportedly came from ads promoting scams, illegal gambling, and questionable adult material, as well as other content that is banned under Meta's own policies. These scam ads were targeting users in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, as well as elsewhere, and used tactics like fake endorsements or deepfake videos to lure people in. Meta did form a special task force that cut the scams by half, but documents suggested that it was disbanded after concerns about revenue impact leading to a resurgence. A Meta spokesperson told Reuters that the team was temporary and that CEO Mark Zuckerberg had directed efforts to step up fraud fighting across all the platforms. This raises real questions about balancing profit with protecting users, especially kids and seniors who might be more susceptible to these kinds of frauds online. Pro tech tip: as always, verify before you click, and if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. For a bigger deep dive on these stories, visit thenewOldTechGuy.com. I'm Chuck Palm.
Covering sports on America in the Morning, Robert Workman.
College football bowl season underway in Orlando. The Cure Bowl. Old Dominion stuffed South Florida 24-10. Quarterback Quinn Henicle ran for 2 scores for the Monarchs, including a 51-yard dagger in the closing minutes. In Mobile, Alabama, the 68 Ventures Bowl, Delaware held off Louisiana 2013, capping the Blue Hens' first season in the FBS. Joe Silver had a 61-yard touchdown run. The college football playoff begins on Friday. Oklahoma hosts Alabama in the opening game of the first round. 3 more games on Saturday: Texas A&M Miami, Mississippi Tulane, and Oregon James Madison. NFL Week 16 begins tonight with a big one in the NFC West between the Rams and the Seahawks. The Dolphins, freshly eliminated from the playoff chase, are making a quarterback change. Tua Tagovailoa gives way to rookie Quinn Ewers when the Aquatic Mammals host the Bengals on Sunday. Hockey, the Hurricanes won their 5th straight, 4-1 over the Predators. 2 goals and an assist for Sebastian Aho, all of them coming in period 3. Mammoth ripped the Red Wings 4-1. Panthers edged the Kings 3-2 for their 6th win in 7 games. Coach Paul Maurice.
And we found a way to win a game, so we're in that mode. We're not looking for perfection right now.
Joel Hofer stopped 24 shots as the Blues shut out the Jets, and the Devils dinged the Golden Knights in a shootout. NBA wins for the Bulls and the Grizzlies. College hoops, number 7 Gonzaga crushed Campbell 98-70. Junior Braden Huff had a career-high 37 points. That's Thursday Sports.
When we return on America in the Morning, hospitalized children get the message of hope and joy during the holiday season after these messages. He was a cab driver who found his way onto a soap opera and commercials before becoming Buck Rogers. Entertainment reporter Kevin Carr reports on the passing of actor Gil Gerard.
Gil Gerard, star of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, died this week in Georgia following aggressive cancer. He was 82. Born in Little Rock, Arkansas, Gerard found his way into acting while working as a cab driver, as he explained to Frank Pisona in 1980.
It was a guy I picked up in a cab one night and found out I went to acting school, and he said, would you like to
do extra work.
Through the 70s, Gerard amassed multiple appearances on television, including a regular role on the soap opera The Doctors.
Come on, you can't possibly think that she didn't have my child because she didn't love me, but she had Michael Paul because she did love you.
He also starred in hundreds of television commercials.
Come see your Ford dealer. We'll give you something to smile about.
In 1979, he landed the title role in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, a film adaptation of the classic sci-fi comic strip.
This is quite a setup.
It's Colonel Daring, commander of Earth's defenses. Take this barbarian in for interrogation.
Hey, wait a minute.
Later that year, Buck Rogers continued as a television series, using the film as a two-part pilot and running for 2 seasons. In this 2018 interview with Gen X Grown Up, he described the character's popularity.
I mean, I was going to places signing autographs and stuff. And at one place I signed 5,000 autographs in one day.
When his wife Janet announced his death on Facebook on Tuesday, she offered his final words, which included, quote, "Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't thrill you or bring you love." I'm Kevin Carr.
All it takes is a flashlight and a dream. Volunteers in Michigan send a unique message of hope and joy to hospitalized children during the holidays. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
A hospital outside Detroit wants its small patients to know they haven't been forgotten this holiday season.
So on the count of 3, I want everybody to yell as loud as you can.
During the holiday season, members of the community in Royal Oak, Michigan, are asked to gather outside Corewell Health Children's Hospital with flashlights. And at 8 p.m., they shine those flashlights into the hospital rooms of young patients for 10 minutes, shouting sweet dreams. The children are also given flashlights. They shine back.
Throughout the day, we pass out flashlights to the kids so that they get a chance to shine their light back down at all of the community members standing outside in the cold that showed up for them here. And it's just a wonderful way. It's a point of connection for lights coming out of the hospital, lights going into the hospital.
Spokesperson Amanda Lefkoff.
To be stuck in the hospital and feel like the world is moving on without you outside feels a little bit isolating, a little lonely, feels like maybe you've been forgotten in the hustle and bustle of the holiday season.
She's so cute. This is the 8th season of Moonbeams for Sweet Dreams. The hospital also hosts holiday parties and activities for families. I'm Donna Warder.
That's our show for today, Thursday, December 18th, 2025. America in the Morning is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.